Hey guys, welcome back to Coin Knowledge. So today we're going to be taking a look at Beam. Obviously, Beam has been getting a lot of attention here over the 1 month, looking at some particular, individual gaming projects and opportunities that fall underneath the Beam ecosystem. So if you guys are a fan of crypto gaming and projects like this and ideas like this that we bring to your attention, consider subscribing to the channel and liking the videos. Your support means everything. So if you look here at Beam, first of all, what is Beam? It's Merit Circle's subnet building on Avalanche. Beam is more of it's a subnet geared more towards empowering games to be building on Beam. So obviously we can see here over the 1 month they're up about 50% here, which for a market cap of this size is actually a pretty insane move, especially in this market sentiment that we've been in over the 30 days. Right now we've seen Beam over their all chart. We saw them launch at, I believe, middle of November at about a 350 million market cap, and quickly came up to a billion, consolidated, and now they have crossed over that 1.4, around 1.5 billion dollars in market cap. Now, my opinion, this is not a full-on Beam review video. We're gonna be looking at, again, projects underneath the Beam ecosystem that I think have good potential, especially if you want to ride some of the liquidity that's entering the Beam ecosystem. That's going to eventually trickle its way down to projects that are building on Beam, that's using Beam. I think that Beam is going to be, in my opinion, it's a $10 billion coin in the bull run, in the bull market. If it gets the liquidity that I think crypto gaming is going to get, I can see Beam easily 10xing from here, quote unquote, easily. But, what that means that there's going to be a lot of attention, a lot of eyes on Beam. People are going to be talking about it. They're going to be looking at, anyone who looks at Beam and they're going to be thinking, hey, maybe I missed Beam. What's building on Beam? What can I look at underneath of it? Well, then go to Beam Hub, the hub on Beam that tells them, these are the games that are building on Beam. So, we can see there's already a couple games building according to their Beam Hub. Some of them have tokens, some of them do not. Some of them we've talked about, some of them we have not. The ones we're going to be talking about today is, a couple here that I think have a lot of potential overall, and having that Beam narrative behind them, I think is going to be a big catalyst for their project. So the first one we'll be talking about is Rainy Studios. Rainy Studios, and again, we've made videos on these projects in the past. You can find individual reviews on them on my channel. Just look back a little bit on the videos. So Rainy Studios, what it is that it is a full service Web3 native game studio. So you can kind of think like a Playable Games, like a Games for a Living, kind of that style project ecosystem, except it's building on Beam. So they are building multiple games here. Right now, they do have their one game that is live I believe, on the Epic Game Store, the Lords of Light. I want to say it was one of the first batch of games, Web3 games that launched on the Epic Game Store, and it's been, people play it. I mean, there's an active user base on the Lords of Light. It's a trading card game. They have another game that's coming out too, Legends of Chromatica. Which is looks like a mobile rating game. So I think that the fact they already have a trading card game, which I think trading card games, I've said it before, do well in crypto. People just like learning the lore of those games, and it just makes sense in my opinion. We've seen it do very well with games like Echelon Prime, the Parallel, Gods Unchained, to name a couple. And even traditional Web 2 gaming like Hearthstone, Magic, stuff like that. So I think, again, Lords of Light looks very quality, and then they'll be having a mobile game, so I think they're going to be capitalizing on the mobile gaming side of things, which I think is going to have a lot of run-up there. But Rainy Studios, right now, it's sitting at about a 57 fully diluted market cap. I want to say that around half, maybe a little over half of the tokens are currently in supply right now, or in circulating right now, so I want to say that would put us at around a 30 to 35 million circulating supply. You can reach out to the team, verify that, but I believe that is the case, but it does not show. No matter where I go, it doesn't show. They used to have their Rainy or Rainicorn token and Photon. In the past, they have migrated or consolidated their two old ecosystem tokens into their one RST, Rainy Studios token, for one token for their ecosystem, and putting it on Beam. So, sometimes migrations or consolidations for tokens can go one of two ways. Some people look at it as like a rebranding, but I think it makes sense for what they're doing. It makes it easier for investors, and the fact that they're consolidating it all into one token and moving to Beam, I think is very bullish, because right now they were one of the first projects, if not the first, to be a gaming project building on Beam, so they have first mover advantage there. and they are the only, to my opinion, or to my knowledge, they're the first and only game studio platform building on Beam. So a couple of first mover advantages as far as Rainy Studios goes. So I think Rainy Studios is bullish in my opinion. Again, you can find it on Beam. It's also on Avalanche as well in Ethereum if you're looking on where you get your hands on it. And as far as exchanges goes, I don't think it's listed really anywhere. Yeah, it's nowhere but Dexes. So big influencers are starting to maybe talk about it. From what I can see, I mean, we made a video on Rainy Studios back pretty much when Beam launched, because they were one of the first ones to build on there. So I think Rainy Studios, if you're bullish on Beam and you're looking for a gaming studio play on Beam, look at Rainy Studios. Again, nothing in this video is financial advice, just giving you opinions and awareness of some of these projects to bring them to your radar. If you're bullish on Beam, and you probably are if you're watching this video, I would imagine, but either way, that's project number 1 is Rainy Studios. The next project is actually Domi Online. So if we look here at their building on Beam, and Domi's made Twitter posts about this as well, Domi Online. So they are officially building on Beam now. So they already have the Avalanche gaming narrative behind them, and now the Beam network, and they actually have their open alpha game test coming out in March of this year. I mean, Domi Online is nothing but quality. We've covered them a lot on this channel. It's a big like MMORPG game building on Avalanche, but now building on Beam. And they've been building throughout the whole bear market. We've seen them run up at the end of 2023 when a lot of gaming projects were running up and then come down, then running up again. And I think now that they have the Beam narrative behind them and they're building on Beam, and there's already a lot of attention on Domi Online, and they have their open alpha coming in March of this year, 2024. I think that it just makes too much sense for Domi Online where it stands, with the potential that it's, of where it's going as far as X's and returns goes in the future. So I'm very bullish on Domi Online, and I was glad to see that this partnership between them and Beam, now they're building on there. So very bullish on Domi Online. But again, kind of going over Domi a little bit quicker because we've covered it so much, and I think it's more a project that is maybe more in your scope than any of the other ones in this video. So moving on, Mega Weapon. So Mega Weapon was, they're on Avalanche, but they're also now building on Beam. So if we look here, Mega Weapon, what it is, it's a action-packed, top-down shooter game. So if that's your kind of style, try it out. You actually get in this game and play it. It's nothing crazy or AAA, but it's a fun time. It's a fun experience. They've been around for quite a bit now. You can see here the gameplay in the background. That's really all it is. It's a top-down. You can get in there, play against other people. It's pretty fun. It's I think it has a lot of potential, and again, it kind of has major influencer hype. I think Alex Becker talks about it, or has talked about it in the past. I think he will again, but again, I always say don't let that be the reason or something that you're hoping is going to happen as an influencer talk about it, just bringing it up. But over the 1 month, they're up about 11%. And the fact that they're going to be going onto Beam, I'm also bullish on. And when you look at their market cap here, they've been around, again, they launched at the peak of the last bull run, so it would be unfair to say that they've seen a bull run. I wouldn't say that they have. But the fact that they're at a $10 million circulating market cap, and I believe it's fully diluted, I want to say, but if not, it might be even less than that. But the fully diluted is about 10 million right now for the total supply. And the fact that they're building on Beam, they have the Avalanche gaming narrative behind them. Influencers talks about them, and it's a working product. And it actually is, again, it's just fun to play. If you get on there, try it out. It actually is just fun to play. I'm very bullish on Mega Weapon, so another one to put on your radar. Now, the next one is, this is the lowest market cap out of all of them, is Goons of Balatron. We've made a video about them about a couple months ago. So they have a few things going on within their ecosystem. They have their trading card game, the Goon War. If we look back here on Beam Hub, Goon Wars, they have a trading card game right there where, again, it's pretty self-explanatory there. Then they have another game coming out, which I want to say is Goon War or World of Goon. So they have, I believe, 2 games coming out. You can actually find that in their white paper. So we'll pull it up here real fast, because again, we made a video about them. So yeah, if we go to games here, they have their Goon Wars trading card game. Then they have a Balatron Blitz, which is a follow-up game. It's a strategy game called, again, Balatron Blitz, which will be available in the future. I don't think it's live yet, but They moved over to Beam, and I think I want to say Gob or Goons of Balatron and Rainy Studios were the first two projects that officially moved and started to build on Beam as far as gaming goes, to my knowledge, when they launched. But if we look at them, again, they're the smallest market cap right now. So they sit at an $800,000 to $900,000 market cap. We've seen them kind of consolidate a little bit around this 1 million mark. Now, they also launched at the end of 2022, so not really at the end of the last bull run, but they've been around for about, a little over a year and a half, around there now. But at the end of 2023, it will show me. Okay. So it did, it got attention at the end of 2023. Obviously, it had that Beam narrative as well, but we saw it climb up to almost a $3 million market cap, which doesn't sound like a lot, but from where we're at right now, it's, about a 3 to 4x from here. I think, and they have a working product. You can get in here, you can play their game, their trading card game. You can get in, play it. You can get a Goon. They have their NFTs in there as well. So if you're looking for a microcap gaming gem on Beam, maybe look at Goons of Balatron. And if you think that trading card games do well, the only concern is that there's not a whole lot of volume, compared to where it was obviously right here. It was getting a couple 100,000 or even 100,000 right there. So it doesn't take a whole lot of volume to move this thing, but it is something worth bringing up. I mean, even the fully diluted is only 2.2 million, so very small, very high risk. But as a quick recap, again, these are just projects that are building on Beam that we've talked about in the past that I wanted to bring note of, just because again, when you look at Beam here, especially over the 1 month, up 38%. Over the 1 year, their chart looks solid. Obviously up 478%. And I think Beam is not, anywhere near done. I think it's going to keep running. I'm very bullish on Beam. So obviously gaming underneath of it. In some of these other ones we've talked about too, like Amino Rewards or Amino Move. But as a quick recap, what I'd be looking at on Beam right now, and obviously more projects are building, more tokens are going to be launching for native gaming project tokens that are building on Beam. Will be launching over time that we'll be covering. But I like Rainy Studios a lot. Again, I'm always huge on infrastructure plays or like gaming studio plays that give you exposure to multiple games. So the fact that Rainy Studios kind of has their own niche market, being the only ones on Beam right now, I think that Beam's going to have a pretty good run. Avalanche Gaming, we've already seen, have a narrative. I think Beam Gaming will have its own sub-narrative underneath Avalanche. I know so many layers of narratives, but that's what I see coming. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just giving you my opinion. Do with this information what you will. Do your own research. I encourage it. But Rainy Studios, again, even at a 60 million fully diluted, again, I think the supply is about half-ish that's out. So it's around a 30 to be, say, 40 million circulating market cap. I think is pretty undervalued, especially when you look at other gaming studio plays. I think it is just kind of being swept under the rug right now. Again, they have their native... they have their game live right now. They're Lords of Light. They're building on Beam, so I like Rainy Studios. Domi Online is, to me, a no-brainer. The fact that it has already ran up here recently, it is a quality project. Their team puts out some of the best updates and patch notes on a game that I've seen in the Web3 space, as far as like actual updates that you can actually see, hey, what was done in this patch note, this update. And it looks quality, and so I'm glad to see that they're moving over to Beam and building on Beam for Domi. Mega Weapon, it's just a fun game. Nothing AAA, but I think Mega Weapon is going to have, I think it's going to get some attention on it. It already did if you look at the 1 year chart at the end of 2023. So I think something happened here. Maybe it was a migration, but I mean, it ran up too also. So I think it will happen again. Again, Mega Weapon is also a pretty interesting play. And then obviously, we have a microcap, Goons of Balatron, sitting sub 1 million with their trading card game live here, Goon Wars on Beam. So there's just a couple, again, gaming projects that I'm looking at that are currently building on Beam. Obviously, when you go through here on Beam Hub, you can see that there's quite a few more. Obviously, it's growing, pretty frequently. But, just a couple ones that, I want to bring up that have their tokens live, the ones that we've talked about in the past that have some potential that maybe aren't really on everyone's radar or scope. And again, if you're bullish on crypto gaming, you're probably bullish on Beam. And if not, let me know why. Let me know if you're not bullish on any of these projects, or if you are, or if there's any ones that I missed that you really like, that you want me to cover a little bit more in depth. Let me know in the comments below. I try to answer all you guys' comments, and I read them all, and I appreciate every single one of them. And otherwise, if you guys got value out of this video, or if it helped you at all, if you guys can like the video, comment, subscribe to the notification bell, and share the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right. See you guys.